The first place I want to begin is that for as many viewers who are watching us,
just louder, yeah.
who are watching us and who perhaps have young people in the house, I think this is one evening they don't want the young people in the house to miss for anything, especially people who are 20 years and below.
Maybe they should go and call them down for the review.
For this review,
okay.
There's need for them to call these young people together for this review, for them to be a part of what we're going to be talking about this evening, because this book is one book. I've read several books on vision, on it's a very popular topic.
It's a very popular among motivational speakers.
Motivational speaker.
And they always talk about things that everybody knows. They repeat each other a lot.
Exactly. And many times
they keep on repeating one another.
Many times you even get more confused than you were than you were in the beginning. Because what's the essence of picking up a book on vision, and you at the end of the book you are not able to know your vision or put together what your vision is about.
You are more confused.
You're more confused. So honestly, Pastor, when you decided to do a book on vision, and when I was to read this book, the initial thought in my mind is like, for example, if you go on Amazon and we just put on vision alone, there are going to be millions of books that have already been.
So you would think it's the same line.
It's going to be the same discussion.
No.
But this is absolutely mind-blowing.
Yep.
Absolutely mind-blowing. In fact, one of the things you told me before this work was the fact that somebody had gone through this material, this book,
yes,
and the person, though an elderly person, had even burst into tears, weeping.
Yes.
I wish I had met such a material like this
when I was younger.
When I was much younger. And that's why I say that
go and call
the young people. This book is going to be one of the most essential materials. I'm not saying this just because I've read it. I'm saying because I'm with.
And you didn't just read it; you edited it.
Yes,
you corrected it. You went through it line by line.
Yes, I went through it line by line, and this is one of the best books ever that will be relevant to anybody's life.
And I will tell you the same thing, just to confirm what you are saying, Doctor. I personally think, there are a few of my books that I would say they are some of the most satisfying work that I've done. Now, this book is one of those books. This is a book that I'm so happy that I was able to write in my lifetime.
Wow.
Because when I see what people are writing about vision, I feel sorry for people who are buying books. For people who spend
waste of investment.
Yes, who spend waste of their money, waste of their lives, who spend their money trying to buy all these books about vision. The only other book that I've read about vision that is not bad was Miles Monroe's book. But it doesn't not because this is my book.
Yes.
It doesn't come close to this one, yeah.
And the people are going to be able to see the differences.
They will see the difference. People who have
read those materials.
Yeah.
So this came very sharp. It came across very direct, and it was very
totally different
perspective. Very different. And the most important, one of the most important facts about this book is the fact that you were able to bring it down to the common language
of everybody and every day.
Every day, you use a lot of experiences. You use a lot of stories that anybody at any sphere of life could understand.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
So, like anybody at any, so if you give this book to a young person as early as 8 years old, 10 years old, 12 years old, they'll be able to appreciate what it's about. They'll be able to understand very clearly the concept of vision, the idea of vision. And of course, it's also relevant for older people, people in their 30s and their 40s too. So it's a very important book, very relevant book for people of all ages. Very, very important. The book on vision.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, but let's start with the cover. And the cover of this book, we will still go to the title itself. But just before the title, you will see the physical eye is a burden. This is a citation here. Yes. The physical eye is a burden to any man who is living without vision.
This alone is enough to get.
It's alone to get anybody thinking.
It's enough to get people really, really thinking. It's enough to make people ask a lot of questions about their life.
But when I look at Africa, This is a description of what's going on in Africa.
Absolutely.
Physical eye. It's like there is even no difference. Either they have it or they don't have it.
And it's not just the physical eyes now, it's going to be every resource that the man possesses. Without vision is a burden to that person. So it's no longer an asset. When, for example, a man has eyes, but he doesn't have vision, then that eyes is no longer an asset to him.
It's a burden.
So it becomes a liability to that person. So if a man has children without vision, the children become a burden to him.
Beautiful.
If a man is in marriage without vision, then the marriage is a burden to him. If a man has cars without vision, then that car is a killer to him. If a man is in a job or in a career without vision, then that job and career is a burden, is a killer to that person. So a lot of people today, they are dying in jobs, they are dying in their carees, they are dying in schools, they are dying in academic institutions and all that. And the reason is because there is no vision. So this is one of the most important.
Anything that you possess, that you don't have vision,
that is not attached to a vision, that is not driving towards vision,
becomes a body.
Is a body.
Begins to weigh you down
and begins to kill that person. So a lot of people, they have children, but they do not know the real essence why they have. There's no vision that is attached to the first child, or the second child, or the third child. So those children become a killer mechanism to them. They become a burden to them. They become a lot of parents, even though initially when raising a child, they're excited about it. They're excited about
emotion.
Because of emotion.
The biomass.
Exactly. But when there's no vision that is attached to it, then in a few years, they discover that there's a lot of burden, there's a lot of problems with those children.
And they begin to be irritated. They begin to curse those children.
Yes, and a lot of fighting.
Them.
A lot of fighting.
Begin to hate one another.
Anger.
They hate the children hate them.
Absolutely.
Just because they didn't have vision.
So they brought children to the world, which was not precipitated by vision. And which is one of the things that was very clearly illustrated, stated again and again in this book, that don't ever go into marriage. Don't ever
talk less of having
children if there's no vision for it. So vision must be the driving reason why somebody decides to go into marriage or decides to have a first child or a second child or a third child. There must be a reason for every of those, everything else activity. A lot of people find themselves in jobs. Just I went to school
without a vision.
Just
to get employed. And then that employment itself becomes a burden.
It becomes a burden. And that's why a lot of time people wake up on Monday morning has been cited as one of the least happy days, least happy hours of
the saddest day.
The saddest
day of the week.
Because there is no vision. So waking up on Monday morning is a nightmare for a lot of people.
Because they are supposed to be waking up to pursue
vision. Yes.
But when they are waking up not to pursue their vision, then they are just burdened.
Even though at the end of the month they are getting money.
But look at what I'm doing, what we are doing in this house.
Yes.
Nobody gets any money for it.
Exactly.
And we are working 24 hours.
Exactly. A lot of excitement.
And too much energy, excitement, no money, no reward.
Exactly.
But we are doing it. Nobody needs to wake us up. Nobody.
Yes. Because vision is like you said in this book, vision is the highest rewarder. Vision is a propeller. Vision is what aviation fuel is to an aircraft. That is what vision is to a man. So if there is no vision, then there is no fuel, there is no gas for the car to run. But when there is vision, then there's a lot of energy. Like a lot of people often ask you this, that what's your driving force? What is keeping you awake? You do. I personally, my widest imagination, do not know how you are able to do all of these programs consistently.
A friend of mine is a very popular guy now on Facebook himself. But he's doing it like Daddy Freeze is doing it once a week.
Okay.
So he's doing his own also like once a week, like Daddy Freeze. But Daddy Freeze is doing his own on Sundays. Yes. And this brother Pastor is doing his own on Saturdays. And he told me that he almost collapsed after doing for maybe 6 months or so. He almost collapsed.
And you are doing every day, multiple times a day.
Multiple times a day, yeah.
And that explains it. This book explains the vision. Vision is a propeller. Vision is the reason why a lot of athletes go to the gym and they are able to spend countless hours
working out.
because there is a vision that is driving their life. So vision is nothing. There is nothing in life that really energizes
like vision.
Like vision. When a man has caught a vision, then you can leave that man to run. It doesn't need encouragement. Does such a man needs little no encouragement.
Nobody needs to push
him. Nobody needs to push him.
And what we have examined so far is just this phrase, this little phrase that is this here, that the physical eye or anything you possess becomes a burden to any man who is living without vision. So anything you possess becomes a burden to you if you don't have vision. This is just little phrase we wrote here. Now let's go to the meaning of to the title of the book itself, which is A Visionless Life is a Meaningless Life. Let me tell you, like I said, it's one of the most satisfying books that I've ever written. But I also want to tell you that it's going to be, I promise you, almost money back. It's going to be one of the most satisfying books you will ever read. I'm sure that no matter how many books you have read about vision, you have not read anyone like this. I mean, anyone that has come across this material, they have always said, we never knew that vision could be approached. In fact, many of them almost commonize or disregard it because they think a vision, we've heard about vision now, everybody knows about vision, but they don't know that what they are going to run into in this book is totally different from whatever they have read before or they have ever heard about. So, yeah, a visionless life is a meaningless life. Even the title itself, is a bit loaded. In fact, you need to think to even understand it. Because some of the people who just look at title, if you don't think deep, you will not even get this title. So how will you explain the title of this book to people who are watching us right now?
Wow. This title alone carries a lot of weight. And one of the things that this book has been able to express is the emptiness that occurs when there is no vision. In fact, I'm going to explain this title with a story that's used in the book, with the illustration, in the introduction, where it was the story of Ellen Keller, a woman that was born deaf and blind. And she was once asked the question that what could be worse than being blind? And she said, having sight without vision. Having sight without having the physical eyes without vision. So it seems that when you remove vision from the life of a man, then what you said in the book is a biomass.
And the woman herself who said that, she knows what it means to be blind.
Yes.
But she also knows that there is something that could be worse
than that. So that was what she was expressing with that when a man does not have vision, it's not better than a plant. It's not better than the chickens on the highway, just running recklessly. Biomasses, just living, just existing. The comparison is that, they respirate, they breathe, they eat, and we are doing the same thing.
Just like cattle.
So that is why you said it's a meaningless life. It's the life of a biomass. What basically explains the life of a biomass?
It's a meaningless
life.
Just like the cattle, somebody will come and cut them
one day
and they are
gone. It's just like a chicken running across the highway. I could just get it one day and that is it.
So you could be alive, I could be alive, just like you are alive now. Two of us are alive. In the physical, people will think we are living the same life. This is what somebody told me one day. And somebody said, Pastor Sunday, what I discovered after listening to your message is that you are not living the same life we are living now. As he said, because when we look at you, we are thinking you are just human being like us. You are living, we are living, you are eating, we eat, you talk, we also talk, when you wear clothes, we wear clothes, and you sleep, we also wake up, and we all have had the name, oh yes, it's the one road that, oh yeah. But now, when I started listening to you more carefully, more attentively, I said, this man is living another life, oh. So we are not living the same life. He said, what I discovered is that most people that he knows, 90% of the people that he knows, he said, the most people that I know, they live like me, like himself, not like me, Pastor Sunday, like him. Yeah, like him. I said, so how do you live? How do you categorize that? She said we only live to exist, to make a living. We're just going to work. He's a good guy. He's a business guy. He's a director in the UK in a college, and it's like he's doing well. But he said, but I know I'm not living like you. You are having a force. You are creating. You are producing something to the world every day. You are creating world around you. You are giving life, to the present, to the future.
Yes.
This is the kind of life I don't see. I read about this life in books of some great people who have lived before, but I thought that life is impossible for me. It's a life that is impossible for ordinary mortal like me. But now I'm seeing you, that you are living the same kind of life. And what I don't live that life, the life that I live is the life of just what should I provide? How can I provide for my daily needs and for the needs of my family, and and to go to pension and die. But that's what everybody does around me.
That's what, like, perhaps 95% minimum of the world lives by. That is the way you say. When people come to, like, let me use the illustration of coming to the hospital. How we judge that people are alive in the hospital is they come, and then there's something we call the vital signs. We just check for the vital signs, the blood pressure, the arterial pulse, and we just check, and then we say he's alive. Or he's living.
Even though he might be in a coma.
Even though he might be in a coma, or that we say he's alive. But this book says that no. That is not how you judge whether somebody is
alive or not.
Judge a man whether he's alive or dead by vision.
What vision is driving him?
What vision is driving him? So a man who does not have the pulse of vision
is not alive.
He's not alive.
He's just a biomass.
It's
as good as an animal.
We could say that is clinically dead.
Yeah, clinically dead, because body is alive.
The body is alive,
but the man is dead.
Gone. So it's a absolutely meaningless life, because the main substance of life has been taken away from him, or he lost it somewhere, or he never bothered to discover it. And this was a lot of pain in my heart going through this book, because the billions and the billions of people in the world today.
But you came from a country where there are millions of those.
Millions of, and that's the norm, because in fact the system is that we go to school as a child and get a job. And like you said also in the book, if we go to take a census, or we go to ask a lot of students in schools, why are you in school? Why are you studying what you're studying? Why are you studying the course you're studying? Why are you in this school? Why are you in this university? Students don't know all of that. A lot of people will likely say, I came here just because I was sent to this place. They sent me to call me, and in fact, when you ask them why you here, a lot of people will be like, why are you asking me that kind of
question?
What do you mean by? Of course, I'm here because I finished school, high school, I wrote the exams, and I'm in the university. And what is your plan after university?
I'm going to get a job.
I'm going to get a job. I'm going to. What do you mean? That is the no. There is no vision that is driving anything. So a man could be dead, even right from a young age, right from 5 years old or 10 years or something, never lived.
But the most painful part of that is that a lot of people who are watching us right now, they think that they are alive, but they are not. I know they are not, because they are. But then the painful thing is even not that they don't know that they are alive, but they are going ahead to give to give birth to children. They are reproducing their types. They are reproducing biomasses.
Yes, that becomes a disaster when an entire generation has no vision. An entire family has no vision. There's no vision for a family. Then it becomes even a problem for the world.
So that I understand. Maybe that's why you are now saying that they should call their children.
I really beg people to call the young people in the house and get a copy of this book for a child. I would, if I were a parent, I would get this copy of this book for every child, and not just get a copy for them. Because that's easy to do. But I would want to go through.
And they should also give exams.
Exams and assignments. If you need to pay your children to read this book, get them to do it. Because if we are saying that how we judge a man that is living, that is truly alive, is by vision, then why would you not want to give life to a child? Because the first life you seemingly gave to the child was when you gave birth to him. But
that's the physical,
that's the biomass. That's what made him a biomass. But for that child to be truly alive in the world, he needs to understand vision. And that's why a lot of parents also have problems.
Which gives meaning to life.
Gives meaning to life. That's why a lot of parents struggle with their children too, because the children have not discovered vision for life. But immediately a child discovers his vision for life, then the parents do not need to worry about drugs when he's a teenager or bad friends.
Because he's living for something greater than drugs.
He understands purpose, he understands life. From a young age, you see the child very determined and pursues something about his life. So it's absolutely important.
What are the main points you might want to underline in this book, or that you got from this book that you think that people should, that they will find in this book? Some main points or lessons.
Oh, I think I will just begin from the
from
first chapter.
Or maybe from you've already touched the introduction.
Yes. I talked on the introductory part of the book, and the first chapter still emphasizes the fact that a life without vision is a meaningless life. And you used one illustration in this chapter that was so profound, and I don't think I will forget for the rest of my life, really, where you said that imagine having two people in the boxing ring, and then you have the eyes of one of them tied.
Yes.
And then, like, they have to
fight.
And
it's not seeing where the opponent is coming from.
And he has to fight.
It's going to be deadly.
In fact, there has to be. We need to call an ambulance. We need to call an ambulance for such a fight. And it's unfortunate because that is how many people go through life.
So they have been beaten down by life.
They have been beaten down by life. They have been beaten down by situations, by circumstances, by it's everything that happens to them every day is a tragedy for them.
They're always in pain.
Always
in pain.
Always in
one
pain.
Tragedy to another.
Everything is thrown apart.
Because they are not seeing. And what makes them to see is
vision.
The power of vision.
It's the power of vision. So it is when a man sees that everything that happens to him in life, he knows how to bring the power of that thing, to incorporate it into his vision for life. He knows how to convert whatever situation is happening to him and take it and employ it into his life. That was so profound for me. I thought, wow, vision has to be an everyday subject, an everyday thing. Another thing you also, another illustration you use in this chapter, illustrating the fact that a visionless life is a meaningless life, is an aircraft always has, before they leave the airport, they have to declare what is called the flight manifest.
Yes.
And say, this is where, this is the road, this is the route I'm going, this is the place I'm going, this is the way it's going to, this is the distance and everything. They have to. But imagine an aeroplane that leaves the airport without a flight man, it doesn't, and they ask the pilot, where are you flying to?
No destination.
No destination. Where are you flying to? No idea. Well, okay, we're just taking off, and then he takes off. And you ask in the book, what do you think happens to such a person? Of course, after some time, it runs out of fuel. A lot of catastrophe, and then
the engine begins to give up,
and it crashes in the ocean. So a lot of people are like that. There is no flight manifest for their life.
But they are taking off.
But they've taken off.
Because they are alive.
They are alive. They are physically. In jobs. They are in jobs. They have wives. They have children. They are in a family.
But they are making things worse by even going to get connected to a woman without a vision. You are ruining yourself and her.
Then it's just like that kind of flight in the air. It becomes a catastrophe for every other person.
Yeah, every other flight.
Every other flight. So a lot of people, they got into marriage becoming a catastrophe for their spouse.
It's even worse because when they become a catastrophe to their spouse, at least it's only to their spouse.
Yes.
But when they now go ahead and be giving back to children that don't have destinations, children that don't even have vision for the children, and those children will be coming across other people's children, catastrophe everywhere. In school, secondary, primary, and those children will be interacting without vision with other children. It's just accident everywhere.
Yes.
Life of accident.
Lot of pain. So if we look at all of that all together, I believe our audience begins to understand
the power a visionless
life
is a meaningless life.
This is that was that even being, and it's the plants. They are giving us some oxygen.
They have vision. They are living by vision.
But a man that has no vision, it becomes a
catastrophe. It's worse than a plant.
It's worse than a plant. It's worse than an animal. Because it's just flying everywhere, and there's no flight manifest for life. And you also said in that chapter 1, that vision is what makes you to live beyond your generation.
Yes.
That if you are not going to be forgotten the immediate moment you die,
It is only because of the vision you
lived for. So a man who does not have a vision cannot live beyond his obituary. Immediately the funeral is done and is placed in the ground, everything is buried with him. But a man of vision, hundreds of years after he's gone, he may not be married.
Yeah,
He
he
may
doesn't
not
need
have
to be
children.
married. Yes, like Jesus.
Like he may not,
Or like Paul.
but
We are all learning from him with all our children. With all our children, we are still learning from them.
We can't do without him every day. Every day we have to learn from him because he lived a life of vision. Just a short time on the earth, but powerfully and with precision, he knew the target. It's like I always want to refer to that boxing ring. He knew exactly where to hit. When the heavyweight boxing champions, they always talk about that uppercut. They exactly know where to hit. They know where to throw the punches that's going to get them points. So it's just exactly like that was how Jesus Christ lived. He knew exactly where to throw his punches for life. So if a man is not going to be forgotten the immediate moment that he's dead, he better ensures that every day of his life is for vision. In fact, the only reason why we are made on earth, why we are brought to the earth now, and why we are living
is to accomplish
what God, a particular task, a particular
and
vision.
nobody comes here without it.
And everybody, we're going to get to that point,
one.
the point where you said everybody was born for a vision, package for a vision. All the problems that we have in the world today is as a result of one person or people who have not realized or discovered their vision for life.
They become catastrophic.
For everybody. People who should be problem solvers have become problems that others are solving. So it becomes a lot of problem. So the United Nations every day have to get together and say, we have 50 million poor people we have to feed today, or we have this number of... But then, each of those people
were supposed to
be problem solvers. They were supposed to be bringing solutions for the rest of... Because each of them is a vision that was born in the heart of God for mankind.
That's this chapter 1.
That's the chapter 1.
Okay.
Very powerful book. You also ensured in this chapter, you brought us the introduction of the fact that a lot of people are confused about the subject of vision. And this is one of the key things why this book is going to be different from every other book. Yeah. Every other book. $150 billion is used for the revenue, the motivational speaking word, business every year. And yet a lot of people are confused. They hear a lot of things. They still don't understand it. But they still do not understand it. Because there's a lot of confusion about that. You introduced us in this chapter the concept of the difference between vision and ambition. A lot of people are ambitious. They think they have a vision. But that is what those people teach. That's what they teach. Motivational speakers. That is what people teaching ambition. Yes. They are telling you to be ambitious. Yes. And they are telling you to generate your own vision. Exactly. You say that again and again and again in the book, that vision is not something you come up with and you generate. Vision is something you're packaged for. So ambition is something that a lot of people wake up every day. Motivate you under emotion. I must become a millionaire. I must buy my house. I must do my own project. I must marry. I must have children. So to quickly just give us an idea of what Dr. Sunday said in this book about that is the fact that whatever is for you, whatever gives you personal pleasure, whatever is about you, myself, and I, my family, my children, me, and all that, just you. That is an ambition. That's throw them away. Just switch that aside. And if we have to relate that to the Nigerian church situation and things like this, very pathetic. All preaching is ambition. Pushing people into ambition. Ambition. We want to build a 3 kilometer by 3 kilometer. We want to build the largest, the largest auditorium. Everything just about the best university, largest, whatever, largest, all of that is ambition. So and now it's just like a lot of people are being dragged into the other people's fleshly and carnal ambition. And ambition itself has no future. Yeah, because that's when the flesh gives up. Absolutely. It's only vision that can last. So if it's a catastrophe when there's a lot of people being drawn, millions of people already being drawn into another man's fleshly ambition.
Yeah, deception.
So it's all of that is just going to go down the waste. So you also brought that introduction into this book, and of course we discussed about the danger of living without vision.
Yes.
And of course you talked in this chapter also about the basis of life. The basis of life, and you said the basis of life has to be vision. The reason why everything is done every day has to be about vision. So that was also discussed in this book. You talked about this is also very strategic, how to make vision the pursuit of your life. Said it has to be, everything has to be centered around vision. So my take on this chapter really is the fact that after reading this chapter, there's going to be the need for every reader to first of all take a pause and reassess everything
in their lives.
And just bring about, first of all, look, I need to first of all
Let me take a break.
Let me take a break, and I need to assess everything. What is it that I've been living for?
And what have I even been doing?
What have I been doing? What have I been achieving? Well, it's just like there's when we go to amusement park, there's something they call a rocking horse.
Yes.
The rocking horse is, you are
Just jingling.
jingling on the horse, all movements but no motion. So a lot of people have movement.
All movement but no progress.
All movement, no progress. Nothing is being done. Nothing is being achieved.
Because you are not living that, you just move it up and down, but you are not living that vicinity.
Yes. So you said only you will give an account of your life's vision in this chapter also. Only a man is going to give an account of his life's vision. Nobody is going to account. You are not going to account for your parents. You are not going to account for your children.
Your parents are not even going to account for you.
Your parents are not going to account for you. You are going to account for yourself. Every man is going to stand before God to give an account of how he has done with the assignments and the resources that God gave to him on the earth. So this is very powerful. And you, in this chapter, I must not forget the fact, bringing it to the level of the country of nations, that it's also vision that bets nations. It's vision that, like for example, in this book you used the example of the United Arab Emirates. That a few years ago they were one of the impoverished nations in the world.
Desert.
They were a desert country. They were a very poor country, but today one of the best, one of the richest, just by vision. Somebody had a vision and gave a nation a vision, and people caught into the vision, and today it is what it is. Another example is Singapore. Another example is Israel. So it seems that when a nation catches a vision of or a drive, then it is just a matter of time, and it's everything is turned around.
Yeah, because when you talk about Nigeria now, nobody can tell you the vision
of the country, and that is why Nigeria.
Even the president cannot.
It can't be defined. Where exactly are we going? Where do we want to be in the next 10 years, in the next 15 years? All of these things has to be something that is burning in the mind of every citizen. And that is why people are not just going to litter the ground, or they are not just going to take bribes, or they are not going to do things that are going to be against the vision. Because now it is going to be so easy for people to say, look, what you're doing or what you did is against the vision of the country. It's not going to get us there. But when there is a burning vision in the heart of every citizen, then everybody begins to move.
There is awareness.
There is awareness towards
where we are going, what we are doing.
Yes. And you ended this chapter on a very, 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 very powerful note. Very powerful note. That the greatest reason why a lot of people do not live out their vision in life is because they're actually afraid. Is fear. Fear of the unknown. Fear of, if I leave my job, what's going to happen to me? What's going to happen to my children?
If I risk
to
step out to do what I feel is my vision,
yes,
how will I survive? Who will pay me?
Yes, who is going to pay me? Who is going to? Where is the next food going to come from? So you use the example of the servants.
Because people want to remain in the comfort zone.
So you gave the example of the servant in Matthew chapter 25, who said the master gave the talent to, and he said, I was afraid. That was why I couldn't go to trade with what you gave to me, with the vision or with the assignment, with the mandate that you gave to me. And you said a lot of people today, like the master said to that servant, that take what he has give it to another man who has already traded with his own, and banish him into outer darkness. I say that a lot of people today are already banished into that outer darkness, into that pain. They're already banished into the life of...
Why they are still alive, they are living in darkness.
In darkness.
Because they don't see, no vision.
No vision. A life of pain. They are living a life, a job that they are constantly complaining about, but there's nothing they can do about it.
And they know that that's not where they belong. They cannot
do anything about it. So people are stuck in schools, in careers, in projects,
in jobs,
in
families
that they know that this is not where I want to be. Every single day of their life, they can probably cry a cry, and they can tell you that this is not me. This is not where I want to be. A 50-year-old man could say the 10-year-old child, or the 10-year-old me had a dream, had an idea, had a vision, had something that I wanted to become, but I could not become it.
Because he had followed the deception of the world. Everybody's telling you, go and get a job, get education, go to that school. And it's just like a blind man. Everybody will give you direction.
Yes. And the one story too, we're still in chapter 1.
Yes.
It's incredible. One story that was also used in this place, apart from the fact of fear, and you said that there was a man, very powerful story you used in the book, who the man was dying. He was an old man, perhaps maybe you said 70 or 80 years old, I don't probably remember, who was dying, and everybody will say, oh, you have lived a
great life.
80-year-old man, you've tried, and the man was laying down on the bed, and the man was weak, of course, an 80-year-old man already spent, and suddenly somebody appeared into that room where the old man was dying, and the person came into the room with a keyboard and began to play very melodiously on the keyboard.
Yeah, that was...
very melodiously on the keyboard, and after about 10 minutes the man stopped playing, and the 80-year-old man that was dying said, please continue with this that you're doing, continue, I love it, this is the best 10 minutes of my life that I ever had, please continue this harmonious, melodious music. And the man said, no, the time I've been given is up, so I need to go. And he began to pack the keyboard truly and was about to leave the room, and the 80-year-old man said, please excuse me, there's one more question I need to ask you. Who are you? Who are you that suddenly came into my room and played for this 10 minutes, this awesome, best music or melody of life? And the man replied and said, well, if you really want to know, I am you. I'm supposed to be you.
That's who you are supposed to be.
Who you were supposed to be. What you saw me do in these 10 minutes was what you were supposed to have done all your life. You were supposed to bring joy and melody to your generation with the power of music, but unfortunately it was a 9 to 5 p.m. job every day, and you never got to live it. So they say, well, the time is up.
You need to go now.
You need to go now. And the man wrote down that story, and he gave up the ghost. And that is a very, very sad story. To imagine that is the life that a lot of people are living. Chapter 1 says, a visionless life
is a meaningless
life. And
so that man is an example of a meaningless life, because he was going to work, he had a wife, he had children, he had family, but he would never had satisfaction. He never had fulfillment. Why? Because a visionless life is a meaningless life. Your vision cannot be just to survive. That's not vision. Your vision of life cannot be just making a living. That is not vision. Your vision cannot be just to make ends meet. That is not vision. And at the end of the life, the last 10 minutes of life is when this man got to realize that, wow, this is who I was supposed to have become.
Yes. So if people will agree with us that visionless life
is a meaningless life.
No, that person shouldn't have come. At the end of the day, it's just the story of a man who lived without vision would be, he shouldn't have come.
Yeah, why? It didn't make a sense.
It didn't make the Yoruba will say that he came as a snake, glided upon the rock, but never left the mark. So a lot of people are living like that. We can never truly say that they came, because they came, they saw nothing, they said nothing, and nothing could be written about them.
No record.
No record.
That they were ever here.
Maybe except for their birth certificates. Maybe except for the only proof that many people have to show that they came to the earth was their birth certificate.
And some of them don't even have it, or they have lost it.
Double tragedy.
Because even their own children and grandchildren will forget them in no time.
Yes, you use that story
All
the time.
Yeah.
That, can you tell us who your fifth grandparent was?
Or you will tell us who Shakespeare was.
But you can tell us who Shakespeare was, even though you are not related to that person. You don't know Shakespeare from Adam. But you can tell us who Shakespeare was.
But your own
fifth grandparent,
you couldn't.
Maybe even the third. Many of us don't
know.
know. Because vision is what
makes a difference. Makes you to be memorable. It makes you to leave your mark in the sand of history. Yeah.
Yes. So the chapter 2 now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. For chapter 2, you said this is one of my favorites. Vision is life's inspiration. For a man of vision, there is no dull moment.
Yeah.
He's never in a gridlock. He's never stranded.
Just like here in this. We just released the two ladies, and life is going on.
Life continues because you are never stranded.
No gridlock.
Never. One of the when I read this chapter, to be very honest, Dr. Sunday comes very sincerely to my mind, because you are there is always something. When there seems to be a problem or a situation, there will always be something, a creativity that comes out.
Yeah, out of it. It has to be turned into something
creative. So every problem becomes creativity. On the way to court, we are reading books. We are walking. We are
giving back to life.
Giving back to life, even though it seemingly seems like a problem. So everything becomes inspiration, becomes creativity, becomes an idea. It becomes what is wasting a lot of people out there. For a man of vision, is a tool.
What is making people to be in depression and lie in the hospital?
What the last time that people, I think that recession happened in the country, in Nigeria, or something like that, and it's also that moment that many people amassed the most wealth that they ever did in their lifetime. Because
vision brings
creativity.
Vision brings about creativity.
Yes. So you gave so many wonderful examples again in this story, in this chapter. One of them being the fact that there was a man who, let me just use in the general sense of it, where what seems like waste to a lot of people, or is a waste, is a problem, is death.
It's worthless.
It's worthless. When a man of vision sees that, it becomes treasure. He sees treasure in it.
Become a resource.
It's a resource. He uses it so powerfully, so intelligently, that everybody begins to wonder, look, the chairs we are sitting on today was somebody's creativity and inspiration. Everybody saw it as it's just a log of wood. Oh, it's nothing, it's just a piece of wood. But when a man of vision saw a log of wood, he saw this wonderful.
It became a wonderful chair.
It became a wonderful chair. It became something creative, something mighty. The frames I have on my face, somebody's creativity gave birth to that. A man of vision. So a man of vision can always look at something, and they'll be able to see that which a lot of people can never see. So a man of vision will look at flour, and you'll be able to see bread. A man of vision will be able to look at what else now? He'll be able to look at everything that a man of vision looks at
becomes a product.
It becomes a product. It becomes treasure. Everybody begins to look. This is what we all have been saying.
Yep.
But how come? It's because he had insight. You said it again and again also in this book that what matters most is not the physical eyes, because these physical eyes, they see nothing. What actually matters most is the insight.
The ability to see in your mind.
To see in the mind, to see from inside what you are able to see from the inside. Like God asked the prophet in the Bible, in the Old Testament, that what do you see? And he said, I saw the bloom of an almond tree. And God said, you saw right.
Yeah.
In the midst of darkness, in the midst of so much difficulty, voidness, emptiness, difficulty, there's a lot of pain. But a man of vision will say, but I can see something. God in the midst of the whole voidness said, look, I can see light. There's something beautiful about it. You usually brought about the story of the widow of the prophet in 2 Kings chapter 4, where like the woman wasn't dead, she was in with pain, she was full of complaint. My husband served you, and now he's dead. I'm helpless with his children. There are debtors who want to take away my children. And Elisha asked, "What do you have?" And she said,
she thought it was significant.
Not just oil. I have oil in the house. What do you do with oil? Little oil. She got a little oil in the house. And the prophet said to her, "Go lock yourself inside, borrow vessels, and pour all of this oil into those vessels." It's always about, and you brought it so strongly vividly, that everybody has something. The greatest problem you have right now,
it could be your greatest resource.
It's your greatest resource. The only problem is just that you've been commonizing. You have to see. What do you see? What do you see with the oven? What do you see with the television? What do you see with the chairs? What do you see with your car? What do you see? All of these resources are powerful things that in any economy, a man of vision is going to trade.
Yes, once you read this book, you begin to see things, opportunities.
Through the
examples. Just begin to see, just through the examples,
yes.
You begin to see that things are around you. You just begin to discover things around you.
Yes,
in your life.
You begin to see that even your fridge is a treasure, is an asset. It's
even the streets you've been walking in all your life.
Every day. The garden, everything becomes a treasure.
You begin to even see yourself differently.
Yes. So that was very, very, very mind-blowing for me. You told us that when a man has such a vision, or when a nation has such a vision, then it becomes transformed. You gave the example of Germany. Germany was in ruins just after the Second World War.
Yes.
No country in the world wanted to identify with Germany. After the Holocaust, everything was, they were stigmatized. Everything was negative for them. But vision, within 50 years, a nation that was in ruins came out of ruins and
became number
one today in Europe. They are setting the pace for the rest of the world. And so we cannot give up also in Africa. All that we need, first of all, is a burning vision for the continent. So when there's a burning vision, a continent that has been in ruins with the history of slavery and all of that, we can begin to set pace for the world when vision is brought into the equation.
Yeah.
So another thing you said in this book is that vision is the power for your everyday life. Vision is the reason why you wake up every day, why you have to stand up every day. I want to read this. I don't know if I can just read this too.
Go ahead. Yeah.
You said, people of vision can never be depressed. Why? Vision is the strongest antidepressant ever known to man. Vision is the most potent dose against sadness and affliction. Give a man who is depressed vision that interests him and watch him come alive.
Yes.
That is so profound.
Vision will wake him up.
It will wake him up. Vision will literally wake up a dead man. Vision will wake up. The reason why a lot of people are battling depression in the world is because there is no vision.
Yeah.
There's nothing to be excited about. There's nothing that makes them happy. There's nothing that they want to do for the next man. There's nothing they want to see come out in the world. So when people understand or get a burning vision for life, then they wake up from depression. So that's what becomes the energy for everyday life. So, and also vision is what gives us understanding of life. It helps us understand what life is about. It helps us understand your goals, the reason why you're doing what you're doing, and why your vision has to be separate from your ambition. So, I think that was majorly what chapter 2 was about.
Yeah.
Yes. So,
just to remind you, what the book we are reviewing is this book. A visionless life is a meaningless life. A visionless life is a meaningless life. One of the most important books that I believe I've written. I have written many important books, but this is one of the books that I am really excited and happy that I wrote. Because this book here, if anybody will make the mistake of reading it, the person condemns himself to a life with meaning. Your life is going to be so transformed. You will stop living a meaningless life, and your life will take on so much meaning. You'll be surprised that life could be so exciting. And we are just reviewing it now, and only 2 chapters we have reviewed. If you want to buy my books, the only way to buy them is to write to DSS Books, DSS Books, one word, at gmail.com. DSSbooks@gmail.com. And we are also looking for distributors. If you're going to distribute, then you are going to be making money from these books. You are going to be getting up to 40 to 50% from each book for yourself. As well, you can also buy them on Amazon, but the Amazon might be more expensive. So if you write to DSSbooks@gmail.com, that is to my office. It will be cheaper. But if you want it, quick, you can go to Kindle. You can actually read this book for free on Kindle. So go to Kindle books and you'll be able to read for free. And these books will bless you greatly. Chapter 3.
Yeah, so before we go to chapter, just 3. The final words for chapter 2.
Okay.
I really want to read this. Why I'm so passionate that young people need to listen to this.
And the parents need to buy for them as well.
Buy for them as well, and give this book to your child as
either they are adults or they are adolescents, or they are young adults, or they are young. Any one of them, they will need this book.
Yes. So you said that you were not created by God Almighty for pleasure. A lot of people in the world
a lot of deception.
Deception. People are running for pleasure. So you were not created by God Almighty for enjoyment. You were not created by God Almighty for self. You were not created by Almighty God for egocentrism. You were not created by God Almighty for children, but for vision. A lot of people just want to have children.
All these things, they think these are the things that life is all about.
Life is all about. So you were not created by God Almighty for family, but for vision.
Wow.
You were not created by God Almighty for schools, but for vision. You were not created by God Almighty for job, but for vision.
Wow.
You were not created.
Many people are already seeing themselves as failing the test.
You were not created by God Almighty for wandering, but for vision. You were not created by God Almighty for survival, but for vision. So vision will protect you from being wasted. Vision will ensure that you do not go the way of the common man.
Right. Wow. And many people are living for pleasure. They are living for children, for family, for job, for school, for survival, and sad.
Trapped in their...
They are trapped. Trapped. And these are the traps that get people distracted in life.
Yes. So we go to chapter 3 now, as you begin to discover your vision, your personal vision, and how you begin to literally know this.
Yeah, because that's a critical factor because people have been asking, I'm sure some people will be asking, how do I get there? How do I discover my own personal vision? Yeah.
So you said, first of all, very important critical factor for vision is the fact that you cannot invent your vision. This automatically... It
doesn't come from flesh and blood.
From flesh and blood. It's not an invention of man. Automatically, I think this already eliminates perhaps 90% of books out there.
Yeah, because it's all about that.
Because it's all about that. It's about events.
Yes, it's all about
coming up with something. And so a lot of people come up with something they're able to run with for a few years, and then they even discover, look, I'm frustrated about it.
Yeah.
So he said, vision can never be known except, first of all, we discover the mind of the manufacturer. So it is the manufacturer who understands the essence of a product, of a thing. He will be able to say, this is why I made this product. This is why, this is the capacity it has. This is what it's able to do. So if we are able to get into the mind of the manufacturer, then we will be able to say, this is why this was made. And very important factor, critical factor, is the fact that no two people on earth have same vision.
Yeah.
So
everybody's absolutely unique.
Everybody's unique.
With a unique
design,
mandate.
Packaged deliberately by God for something on the earth. You said in the book that God saw a need
and packaged you for it.
Packaged you for it and said, I want to make something.
So we
special.
meet that I'm creating you to come down to the earth to resolve that particular need that I'm saying on the earth.
So if there is a problem that is on the earth now that has not been resolved, it's because there is the world is yet to see the man of vision.
The person that is created for it.
That is created for it.
Is working for survival, sitting in churches. And clapping for some pastors and paying tithe.
So
instead of going to pursue and fulfill the reason why God sent him to the earth in the first place.
And that's also very interesting because in Africa we have pastors who want you to just serve their own vision. So it's always
can you imagine it? 1,000 people serving one person's vision. So 1,000 needs.
1,000 visions
are just wasted. Redundant. 1,000 needs, problems that are troubling people. Destroying the whole nation, are rendered. Nobody's attending to them because the people who are supposed to be attending to those problems are sitting down applauding the vision of another man.
And that also means that 1,000 people will be left unfulfilled for the rest of their life.
And they're going to the grave.
Wow.
With nothing, with no result.
Wow.
They are going to be challenged when they get to heaven. It's a problem.
That brings to my mind one of the sayings by Miles Moreau, who was popular for saying that the wettest place on earth is the graveyard. Because there were books that were never written and songs that were never, people didn't come up with and all that in the grave. So, no two people on earth have same vision. This makes vision personal. This makes vision something that you have to catch, individual. It's something that you have to see for yourself and you have to be ready to run with. And this is why you cannot also bet vision for a child. African parents do this a lot for children.
Go and study that.
Go and study this. Go and do this. This is what you're supposed to do.
I know I'm your mother.
This is, yes, exactly. We need a doctor in the family, or we need
the only thing we don't have in the family is an engineer.
An engineer, so you have to go for it. You have to do this. And when they do that, technically, they have wasted somebody's life. They've rendered a child, they've recreated a child that was created by God, and they've rendered him a common man. Because for the rest of his days, he's going to be struggling with something that was not in the mind, or that was not the intent of the manufacturer.
That wasting him.
So that is another critical thing that has to be known about vision. First is the fact that it originates from the mind of the manufacturer, so you cannot know vision
without
the manufacturer. And motivational speakers are never going to tell you this. They are never going to say that.
They don't even refer to the creator.
To the creator, they don't want to
do religious.
The religious. They don't want to be religious, but that's the truth. Because there has to be a manufacturer.
Yeah, you come from somewhere.
From somewhere. There has
and
to be.
Whoever manufactures you knows why.
Why.
And for what purpose.
For what purpose. And he has to unveil his mind. He has to be able to let him know
that's
that
the only way for you to discover
it. To discover it. So it's something that is birthed from the place of meditation, that is birthed from the place of personal discovery. This also has to go in line with who am I and why am I here?
Yes.
The book. Who am I? Why am I here? What is it? Why do I have these reactions to issues? Why is it that I'm concerned about this matter? Why is it that the pain of women generally concerns me and it doesn't concern other people? Why is it that when I see children, I'm burdened, but yet my friends they don't even notice that? Why is it that problem of traffic gives me a lot of headache and everybody is okay with it? Why is it that bribery in the country is something I can't stand? Corruption, I can't just stand it. Or other people, it doesn't mean much to them. God has given every one of us that pain in the heart. That's burden in the heart. So that is also God trying to communicate something to you. God told Jeremiah, he said, before I formed you in your mother's womb, he said, I knew you. He said, I set you apart, I sanctified you. I said, I set you apart for the nations. So, and that is true. That wasn't just true for Jeremiah. That is true actually for every one of us.
Right.
Before each and every one of us was formed in the womb, God knew us. He predestined it. He had an idea. You said in the book that there may be unplanning parents. He said, but God is always a planning God.
Yeah.
Every child that is born was born as a deliberate, very deliberate act of God. So either a child is born through rape or out of wedlock.
God has a hand in it.
God had a hand in it. God coordinated even though the situation might not be pleasant, but God coordinated because He was bringing forth something to the earth. So every one of us had that mandate from God. He ordained, He sanctified, He set us apart for a specific assignment. So each and every one of us now, we have to understand what was it that was in the mind of God when He was creating us, when He was setting us for, when He brought us to the end. So that is why each of us has different triggers, different reactions to issues, to circumstances, to what pains one person may not be. What, for example, a couple now, the husband may have a burden for men, and the woman
is having for business,
for business or for children, and in Africa
they will say you are your husband's
helpmate or whatever, and then they say you don't have a vision of your own, you're the woman, and then a lot of women again. So statistics
negate them,
negate, suppressed, and silenced. They are not able to live the life that God called them to live. So that's
why they will remain unhappy,
unfulfilled, even though they have children, even though they may have jobs,
still unhappy.
They are still unhappy, they are still unfulfilled. And the men cannot even understand why the woman is quite unhappy or quite unfulfilled. It's because a visionless life is a meaningless life.
A meaningless life. A visionless life is a meaningless life. That is the whole idea of this book.
Yes.
Wow.
So then another critical factor of vision now, when you are beginning to understand, this is why I'm sent to this place. This is what burdens my heart. That you said in this book is a seed of God that is trying to force, but that is trying to comfort, that is trying to raise,
his head.
And once a man now discovers that it could be business, it could be I want to design clothing, I want to design this for people, I want to do this, it can be anything. And then he said, when you discover that now, you have to understand something, that God has also given the capacity
to accomplish
it, and for it to subdue all the hair.
It's the ability the capacity for it to germinate, to multiply, and to actually replenish
the entire hair. So it is not just, you use the example of a mango seed or like an orange seed,
apple seed,
an apple seed that it's native. We say how many trees are in this seed. Somebody could say 1,000 trees. Or 1 million trees, or countless. The truth of the matter is, in every seed, there is the potential for it to fill the entire earth, which can be done. And God has made every individual of the over 7 billion to carry that potential. So whatsoever thing, if for example somebody has a business that they are doing into, they have the potential for that business to replenish the earth. An example, of course, is the iPad. He could have made a few iPads, for example, and 1,000 people,
or 10 people, just for his family and relatives,
or just for himself to solve his personal problem, which is like an ambition, and then the community. But a man came up with an idea that even after I'm gone, it will keep multiplying.
He's still resolving the problem of the whole world.
Just like Microsoft. I want to place a personal computer on everybody's table in every home. I want to write a book that is going to be in every family, that is going to be solving certain problems. So these are things that you challenged us in this book, that with vision, you can actually catch a generational vision. You can live 500 years ahead of your time, that 500 years after now, you are still alive and speaking, you are still solving problems. You come up with products, with ideas that 500 years from now, 1,000 years from now, it will still be multiplying itself and be solving problems. But unfortunately, a lot of people do not know this, because you said in the book, they may be good people, they may be Christians, they may have the Holy Spirit, everything may be good, but unless a man understands this, he will remain small, and he's going to die small. So there is the need.
But the size of a man is the size of his vision.
It's the size of his vision.
So if your vision is for 500 years, you can never be small.
You can never be small. And you made it so simple in this book, because you made it very clear that it's something you decide by yourself.
You decide it. Yes.
You decide it. You decide whether I want to be alive for 500 years.
Yeah, because God gives you the option to be fruitful, multiply, and subdue the earth. And you could say, okay, I will just stop on the level of fruitfulness. Or I want to go beyond fruitfulness. I want to go to multiplication. Or I want to go beyond multiplication. I want to go into replenishing the earth.
Yes.
Forever.
I want to read this part of the book where it says, you said, you must refuse to die simply and cheaply. Don't die simply and cheaply. You said, you can take what you have to the ends of the earth. Your enlargement in the place of vision will ensure that. If only you can enlarge your vision, if only you can broaden your scope, if only you can see, if only you can open up your mind, if only you can identify opportunities, you can take action with your vision and become a global icon. So he said everybody who has ever done it in the world today did it by vision because they deliberately decided to do it.
Yep.
The aircraft, whatever multinational company that is there, whatever product, whatever, is because a man caught a global vision. And you're challenged. Why are Christians not doing this? Why are Christians not coming up with ideas, with concepts? Why are Christians not subduing the earth with vision? Why are Christians not building intergenerational vision? A man like the Rothschild family, the Rockefeller family, and all of those, somebody caught an idea, and they could say with banking we are going to subdue the world. Or with medicine, we're going to. So a man created what is called the Bank of. It's called the a corporation of hospitals in the United States. I forgot the name now, but it's just like a network of hospitals in the United States. And several generations after him, he's still suffering.
Hopkins, for example.
Yes, the Mayo Clinic and all of that.
Yes.
So it has to be with vision. Somebody has to come up with it. If our grandparents or fifth parents before us didn't do that, we better do it for the sake of the coming generations. So that when children are born, they know that there is something for them to pursue. They are not just coming to the earth to be nobodies. So you taught us in this book to live transgenerationally with the power of vision. And
and my example that I'm planning to live for 500 years.
500 years after now.
After I'm dead.
You said it so powerfully in the book that these books you're writing, the things that you do, that they are not just for the
today.
moment, for today, because you are a person of legacy, you're a person of vision, and you can see far ahead.
Yes.
You can can see the vision, and you're putting the plans in place to actualize them. So then another critical factor of vision that you mentioned in this book, very, very important also, is the fact that it's not just enough for you to catch the global vision, for you to put the schematics and the plan in place. You said the critical factor of vision is the fact that you have to take action. That action makes all the difference for a lot of people. For example, you use the example of the high jump that people do in high schools, the sports, that people will set a bar and then they will run like maybe 5 meters or whatever before, and then they run, and when they get to the place where they're supposed to jump over it, they just go under it. And then you said you constantly thought about that why is it that a lot of people have to set the goal? But when it came to the time to jump, then you suddenly went under. And he said that is because they've not first of all jumped in their mind. Before you can jump it in the physical, in the surface, you have to first of all have jumped in your mind. When you jump in the mind, then you take action towards it. You'll be able to lift yourself above that obstacle. So it's important that people wake up, that every day you decide, I'm going to do this. If need be for me to quit this job, if need be for me to start this business, if need be, it's never going to be convenient. There's never going to be a perfect time to begin your vision, to begin to live your own life. There's never going to be that perfect time for you to say, look, I quit and I want to start what God has placed upon my heart. You have to be able to decide in spite of whatever inconveniences and say, today's the day. Now, in fact, is the time that I'm going to begin now. In fact, like a lot of people will be listening to us and they will say, now, this very hour is the time that I'm going to begin what God has placed upon my heart to do. You know, if it's a call you need to make to begin, if it's bring your computer and begin to type and begin to do whatever thing it is that needs to be done. You say, now is the time. I'm not going to wait 1 more hour for me to begin.
And that's why nobody will ever get this whole message until they read the book.
The book, yes.
And even though we have done 3 chapters,
yeah, we're about rounding up 3 chapters.
we are going to do just 3 chapters review for you, because we'll get ready for the next program. But I think Success has done such a good job. He has already shown us the value of this book. And if you don't get it after all what Dr. Success has done and has told you, then you have yourself to blame. So I would like to strongly encourage every one of you to look for this book. It's on Amazon, and you can read it for free if you don't have money. You can read it on Kindle Unlimited for free. So go to Kindle Unlimited, you'll be able to get it for free, but you could also buy it on Amazon or write to my office, dssbooks@gmail.com, or you could go to my blog, sundayadelajahblog.com/books, sundayadelajahblog.com/books. And for those of you who want to come to HMT, also go to sundayadelajahblog.com/visit. And for those who want to join the Nigeria movement, it is sundayadelajahblog.com/Nigeria. So, and then we have this mentorship class that I've just started for free. Somebody just wrote me the other day and said that in Mountain of Fire, that is 300 and something pounds for such a mentorship per session, per class. Not per class, per session, per course. So we have 12 courses here. But everything is for free. So if you have 12 courses, 300 and something pounds times, like $500 times 12. But we are giving everything for free. So if you really want to renew your mind and get to, the nitty-gritty of Christianity, join the mentorship class. And the way to do it is to go to www.sundayadelajahblog.com/mentorship. sundayadelajahblog.com/mentorship. Yeah, so what else will you say in the last word to people who are watching us about this book? Pastor Natasha Tamis? Puskana pod period samai pasle ne knigi liteka to the mention si what producer he prepared that book.
I think I just want to plead with everybody that is already you have listened over the hour, you already have an idea of what the worth, but honestly I've not been able to
really not justice,
to really scratch the surface on what the treasure that is in this book. And if you truly believe that a life without vision is not even worth living at all, then I think everyone should really go out there and get this material for themselves, and not just read as a book, but read as a manual and take
it. It's actually going to become like a life guide.
A life guide for
a lot of people. Once they discover what is inside,
exactly.
A lot of my books, some people say that they said they keep it like they used to keep the Bible under the pillow. That they keep my books now under the pillow
as a guide.
Yes, because they need to keep on going back to it.
Yes,
and the same thing will happen with this.
I just wish that a lot of people will be able to have access to this, to be able to. This is one of the books that needs to be duplicated again and again and again. And I'm so excited because Dr. Sunday said you are so excited to have written such a book like this.
It's one of the books that has really excited me that I've done.
Wow, because this is going to be a liberation for a lot of people. People will be able to get the materials and be able to liberate themselves from the mundane life, because that's where a lot of us are living. Just the mundane, just the regular.
Just existing.
What people, the culture.
Masses life.
So it's almost predictable for a lot of people go to school, get a job, get married, and die. That is what a lot of, is like almost predictable. But this book is going to liberate people from that. It's going to make you understand that, look, why school? Why marriage? Why all of these things? And if I'm not even going to do all of these things, then can I create an alternative life for myself that is going to be so forceful and so impactful that thousands of generations after I'm gone, I'm still impacting the earth. I'm still influencing the earth. I'm still causing things to happen, even though I'm not physically present.
Excellent. Okay, so I will talk about some more books, some few other books right now. And just for people who might not know some of the other books that we have here, is Discover the Source of Your Latent Energy. All of us have that energy that it takes for us to be able to change the world. That energy is in you, but you need to discover it. The Veritable Source of Energy is another book here that will be able to, help you to release the grace, the energy, to be able to actually discover the veritable energy that is available for you to become anything that you wish to become in life. Now, how to overcome the power of the fear of death. This is another thing that is holding a lot of people back, and you can overcome that fear of death. Now, for those of you who are concerned about their countries, this book, How to Transform and Build a Civilized Nation. This is the biggest book I've written so far in English, and this is about nation. If you want to redeem and regenerate, recreate your own nation, if you have a burden for your nation, this book will help you to come to its realization. Now, this one is Why Am I Unlucky? A lot of people complain that things are not right with them. Well, it's not because you have some witches and wizards in your family. It's because of what you don't know. Discover that secret here. For those of you who are from Africa, from Nigeria, only God can save Nigeria. What a myth. It is actually a very big myth for you to say only God can save Nigeria. There are some things that we can do to bring about the salvation of Nigeria. That's what this book is about. Nigeria and the Leadership Question. So if you have not read this book is the most important book I've written about resolving Nigeria's problem. This will also help you. But these books are not just about Nigeria, they're about every country. How to Become Great Through Time Conversion is another incredible book that will help you to become everything you need to become in life. So, thank you so much, everybody. In the next half an hour, we are going to be here again to continue the series, the love series that I've started for some time now. And I will see you in half an hour.